Welcome to Season 2 of Discovering Disabilities in Dearborn with Rashad and
Ali Darwish.
Today we have the wonderful pleasure of having an amazing guest named Sallah Mohamed. Sallah Mohamed, tell us some more about yourself. Welcome.
How you guys doing? Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Well, today's going pretty good. I was excited to be on the podcast with you guys today.
We've been waiting for this to happen for some time now. You and I were supposed to be on a podcast earlier, but due to unforeseen circumstances, I couldn't be there. But alhamdulillah, we're here now, and I'm looking forward to this episode.
Yeah, me too.
So I think we should just jump straight into the questions. We have a lot of questions and a lot of conversations that we want to have regarding your disability and how you got here and everything you do. So tell us a little bit about what your diagnosis is.
Okay, so I'm a T6 complete paraplegic, and what that means is I have a spinal cord injury. So from the right here, from the chest down, I'm paralyzed, completely paralyzed, because your spine. There's like two main types of spinal cord injuries: is incomplete and complete. Incomplete basically means I completely severed my spinal cord. Incomplete, it's damaged, but your spinal cord's still intact. So yeah, I'm a T6 complete paraplegic. What happened was, I was Friday prayer, Jummah. I was coming home from let's backtrack a little bit. So Fridays, my schedule usually on Fridays is I wake up, I go to school, pray, come home, go straight to work.
And this was how many years ago? When was this?
November 3rd, 2017.
Okay.
So a little over 5 years now. Yeah, a little over 5 years. So usually, I was riding a motorcycle at the time. So usually on Fridays, I never touch my bike because I wake up, go to school, come home. Or I wake up, go to school, pray, come home, go straight to work. I was working at a pizza place at the time. But this day, subhanAllah, what happened was I slept through my alarm. So I'm like, I won't make it to school, and what can I do in the meantime before work? So it was November, so it was cold, but it wasn't, the conditions were good. It wasn't raining, it wasn't snowing. So I thought, hey, let me get on my bike today, because this is gonna be probably the last good day it's gonna be for the season.
A motorcycle.
Yeah, my motorcycle. So as I'm getting ready to leave for the day, because I was gonna go to Walmart first, get some things, then go to the masjid, and then come back, then go to work. So as I'm leaving, I'm getting dressed, I put on my helmet, and I start to get on the bike. My mom's like, Salah, please today don't ride. She just didn't feel good about it. So I'm like, don't worry, Mom, today's going to be the last day I ride before the winter, and I'm going to put the bike in the shed after today. And subhanAllah, it was my last day. So after that, I get on my bike, go to Walmart, get some things, throw it in my backpack, go to the masjid, go pray, listen to the khutbah. And then on my way back, I'm coming home. It's a turn I've taken a lot of times. So I'm coming home from the freeway, I'm riding, everything's going. It was a great day of riding, to the Walmart, from the Walmart to the masjid. It was it was perfect. There wasn't a lot of cars because it was a Friday. People are at work. This is before COVID, so people were always driving. But during that time, everyone's at work, so the roads were pretty clear. So I'm coming home from the masjid, and then I'm getting off the freeway. And what happens? There's this thing called target fixation, which is one of the top 3 causes of motorcycle accidents, and that's what happened to me. So I was coming off the freeway, taking an exit. I've taken many times. It's not a hard turn. It's an easy turn. And I was coming off. I was slowing down from 70 because that's what speeding on 75 is. And then I was let off the throttle. And as soon as I started the exit, I froze in the middle of the turn. And I went straight from cement to grass because my tire was spinning so fast, my back tire. So as soon as I touched the grass, it kicked out from under me, and I hit the ground going 65. And then me and the bike separated. The bike went to the right, and I went forward, flipping. So I was from where the bike hit to where I ended up was about 100 yards. So like a football field. So if you imagine someone flying across the football field, that's what happened to me. So I was hitting my back, going up in the air. Like I would see the sky. Then when I hit the ground, it would go black. And then it happened a few times. And and then I was trying to get up. What my thought process was, because we're Arabs and our parents are very strict. So I thought, let me get back on the bike, hide it, so my parents don't find out. No one finds out about this, and then we're good. But obviously, I didn't realize as it was going on. Like I realized like I couldn't move. Like I couldn't move like my legs or anything. So I couldn't get up, and I was very disoriented.
You realized that instantly that you couldn't move?
I realized something was wrong. So what happened was the first thing that happened is I was touching my ribs and my stomach. And the reason why is because like if you look right now, my stomach's kind of out. It's not necessarily because I'm fat. It's because there's a muscle here called the transverse abdominis, and since it's below T6, so I don't have control of that muscle. So that muscle's always pushed out. So it's my muscle always sticks out. So what I thought my intestines blew up. So I was feeling it because it was pushed out. I'm like, this is weird. Because like before the accident, I wasn't like ripped or anything, but I had abs. So I'm like, why does my stomach look like this? And it feels like this. So
You still look jacked, by the way.
Thank you. So like I'm feeling my lower ribs. I'm like, I can't feel them. Like this is weird. And then
So right away that muscle gave out, basically. Right away that muscle gave out. Wow.
It was, subhanAllah, it was so crazy. So it was instant like that. And then I'm looking around, like I'm feeling my stomach, and I see this white lady crying. I'm like, why is she crying? Like, what's going on? So I couldn't hear it because I ride with earplugs because it's good. It's the wind noise is very loud, and it damages your ears. So a lot of riders, a lot of like people ride Harleys, they have like tendonitis, ears gone. So I always rode with earplugs. I was very big on safety. Like when I crashed, I was full gear, head, jacket, like pants, shoes, like helmet, everything. So I took off my helmet, took out my earplugs, and then as like this was all happening very fast. So like as this was going on, I realized like, oh, something's wrong, and I can't get my bike, I can't move. And then she called the ambulance, and they came for me and all that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You did an amazing job, though, just describing everything and having that memory. You know, a lot of times people.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the crazy thing is I never lost consciousness. During the whole process, I never lost consciousness. So that's why, like, I have a pretty good memory of it. The only thing I don't remember is how me and the bike separated, because the bike went that way and I went straight.
You described it a little in the YouTube video as like every time you bounced on the ground, you saw black, and then you look up, you see the sky, and then black again every time, so it's like in and out kind of.
So yeah, I had a concussion, so that might have been why I don't remember that moment. But I remember almost like 95% of the whole accident, and then where my memory stops is right before surgery. So like I was in the hospital. I remember them cutting off my clothes because I don't know what they had to do. And I remember that, and then the last thing I remember is my body was violently shaking. I don't know what it was, like my body went to shock, or I don't know what happened, but that's the last thing I remember. And then I woke up like hours later in a hospital bed.
Yeah, you said you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Do you update it frequently?
I haven't, but I should, because I know a lot of people like to see it and like to see.
What are your handles so the audience can check you out?
It's just my name.
Okay.
I think it's my name, Sallah Mohamed.
Sallah Mohamed.
SALLAHMOHAMED.
Follow him. You got a decent amount of subscribers, a little more than us.
Yeah.
That comment section was popping. A lot of people were like, "Wow, this is so inspirational. Thank you for posting." They want to learn more.
That's why I want to post more, because I know, like, well, the reason I actually post a video because that video, because people always ask me what happened and they want to know, so I just put a link right on my Instagram so people know, and they don't always ask me, because I was getting asked all the time.
Who asks? Is it like
everyone
when you're in public?
Friends, public, everyone.
Do you like that, or do you prefer people not ask?
No, it's okay, because I know how to tell the quick version now, so I don't mind it. It's just if I'm trying to do something. But most of the time, no, I'm pretty open to it. Like I know people with disabilities, like they have a general feeling, like they don't get asked sometimes about it. But I'm very open with everything.
Yeah.
And I actually, like, a lot of people don't like a lot of people with disabilities don't like this, but like how they get treated after their I actually like it, because like it's different for me, because before my accident I was just some young Arab kid, and no one really. It's you're just some young normal Arab kid. Like, people don't really give you special treatment. But after my accident, everyone's nice to me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. I like it.
Seems like you're very passionate also about, like, sharing your story and inspiring other people. You had a talk at Woodworth a few months ago.
Yeah. I was at a teacher, Selwa. She was on the other podcast I was on, and she asked me to come talk to her school, and it was cool because just to teach kids about it, because like you're young, like I mean before my accident I didn't really know anything about disabilities, and especially young kids, like, so it was just good for them to see Because like it's good for them to see someone like me who's Yemeni, because it was a Yemeni school, who's Yemeni and has a disability. So like I have like cards stacked against me. So if I can do it, they could do it. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Like going to school or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be going to school or getting a regular job, but if I can do that, they can do whatever.
I like how you try to maintain that positivity, and you show it on your Instagram page. I did some digging, and you showed videos of you praying before the accident.
Yeah.
You would always post that and promote that, and then even after your accident, you show that gratitude and gratefulness. What do you think allows you to stay this positive?
I think it's a lot of different things. One is Islam, my religion. I try to be as religious as I can. I mean, we all try to, but we're not perfect, of course. That and how I was raised. I was always raised to like be positive and never look towards the negative, and just surround myself with good people. So like those are like the biggest things. Is like whenever you're going through something, is like surround yourself with good people, keep a positive mindset. I'll try to keep a positive mindset, and like have faith in something. I mean, for me it's Islam, but for other people it's whatever. But those are one of my biggest things. And if you're going through stuff, like talk to people. That's what I did. I always talk. I'd never let my emotions bottle up. I never did that.
Is that something you realized like after the accident or before, your whole life basically?
It's kind of my whole life, because I always say what's on my mind. Like it's actually sometimes to my fault, to my detriment. Yeah. Like I'll just say whatever, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. But it's always been something like that I've always done, and I've noticed it more after my accident, because like a lot of more emotional things, and the big hurdle was the mental battle of that whole thing. That's like the biggest hurdle, and then going through that, I learned so much about talking to people and just talking to people and just like letting my emotions out. And
I want to know more about that mental battle that you faced, because I can't imagine like being and you were an athletic person. You were always exercising, an adrenaline junkie, taking care of yourself, all of that, and then being in the hospital for how many months?
2 months.
Yeah, that whole transition. So tell us about that mental battle that you faced while in the hospital, coming to that realization.
It actually wasn't as bad in the hospital, because accident happens. Of course, it was emotional and stuff. Like there would be days where you'd cry and stuff like that. You'd be, because you're obviously what happened is such a big change in your life, and you're seeing all your friends and family, like they're sad too. And actually, the first time I cried, it was weird. The first time I cried wasn't when I saw my family. It was when I saw my two closest friends. When I saw them, that's when I broke down. I don't know what it was, but because I grew up with these guys or something. But like when I saw my family, but I don't know, something about my friends, I don't know, it just made me cry. But the mental battle, it was, so in the hospital, it was easy because you're always getting taken care of. It wasn't, I'm not saying it was easy, but like it was the real world, the real mental battle was outside the hospital. Yeah. So in the 2 months in the hospital, you're learning how to become independent and learn how to live a new lifestyle, because you have to learn everything over again, learn how to eat, brush your teeth, just even sitting in the chair.
So there's a lot of milestones that you're experiencing again.
Yeah, because like you got to imagine, like after, so in the first 2 weeks of the accident, I didn't move. I was just like in the hospital bed on pain meds. I didn't eat. I lost 25 pounds in the first 2 weeks, and it took me like, I think a year to put it back on, or something like that. It took me a long time, but so the first 2 weeks lost a bunch of weight, was on basically a bunch of pain meds and stuff like that, and then after the first 2 weeks, I got transferred to RIM, Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan. It's in Detroit.
So you did rehab, not physical therapy?
It's rehab, physical therapy, occupational therapy.
Okay.
Yeah, so you do physical and occupational.
Okay.
And so I went to RIM, did physical occupational therapy, and I learned how to live my new life there. And they did a pretty good job. They set you up with the tools to leave the hospital, and then from there, it's when the real battle begins, because that's where you're not with medical professionals. You're just with your family, your friends, and you're in this house wasn't really made for you. You're dealing with a wheelchair. You're changing the bathroom, just putting a ramp in. So there's all that stuff, and it's just like the first 6 months were the hardest, because you're just like you don't know what's going on in life. Like my whole life view changed after that. Like I didn't know.
So you were going to this place actively?
RIM?
Yeah.
RIM is Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan. It's a inpatient. They do outpatient therapy, but it's a huge inpatient hospital. So I was there for a month and a half. They were taking care of me completely. Like they were feeding me, teach me how to shower, like teach me everything, like how to use the bathroom, physical. Like, so I would wake, like, I think 5 or 6 days a week, I would have physical and occupational therapy. Wow. So it's an hour and a half of physical and an hour and a half of occupational. It's a lot of therapy, but it's what you need to, so you're not in the hospital forever. So they teach you as much as they can in that short amount of time. So when you leave the hospital, you can have the tools to become independent. And when you leave the hospital, you got to practice on those tools.
Okay, so I want to switch a little bit from, I know there were some physical things that we talked about, but I want to switch over from the mental to the physical now. Okay. You know, the physical part of your recovery. Yeah. How did it feel getting up from your wheelchair for the first time?
Yeah, I actually never been asked that. That's a really good question. I remember the first time sitting in a wheelchair. It wasn't this one. It was I was so dizzy because I was laying down for two straight weeks, laying down. Like not even barely sitting up half the time, and then when the first time I got in the wheelchair, I was dizzy. They had to lean me back because one of those it's common. So they have these chairs. It's not designed for you to propel yourself. It's designed to be pushed, and they have a tilt. So they tilt you so your head flows back to your blood flows back to your head, and you become conscious or more conscious. So the first time I sat up in a wheelchair, I was very dizzy. And then it was a physical therapist. She leaned me back. And then they basically gave me a tour of the facility of RIM. And they just explained what was going to happen. It was an intro to what was going on. And, yeah, it felt so different. It was, because I've never been in a wheelchair before. Yeah.
At this facility at RIM, did you meet other people who had similar injuries or anyone else like that?
I met a lot of people, and I still, like, talk to them, like, a lot frequently. Yeah, I met a lot of great people there, a lot.
I don't know if you know any data on motorcycle injuries or anything like that, but it seems like it might be more common among that population who tends to ride.
Yes. Yeah, so it goes like, I think for spinal cord injuries, and the Detroit area is a little bit different because of the gun violence, but I think 1 or 2 is gun violence, and then car accident and motorcycle accident.
I see. Okay.
So it is common. I met like 2 or 3 other people who had motorcycle accidents with spinal cord injuries. Yeah. So it just unfortunately goes hand in hand. Like it's because motorcycles they're death machines. Sometimes.
Would you, looking back, would you have not like used motorcycles, or would you advise people not to use motorcycles?
I would definitely advise not to. I can't morally advise someone to get on a motorcycle. It's just something I can't do.
There's a little play on words that my mom used to always tell us to encourage us not to use motorcycles. She says, "Mot" or cycle. Okay, mot in Arabic means death. Yeah. So that was enough to deter me from using motorcycles. But I mean, these things happen, like motorcycle or not. I know a doctor who was in residency, just finished orthopedic surgery residency, and he was diving in water, and he wasn't doing any crazy flips or anything, and he had, I think it was his thoracic spine that he injured, so he's a quadriplegic now, Dr. Okalami. So he has very inspirational stories as well.
Yeah, like they can happen from anything. Yeah, that diving is actually a common one for quadriplegics. I know one of my friends. He was diving, hit a rock, and then someone else I know was diving and hit a sandbar. So be careful when you dive. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you can never plan for these things.
Yeah, don't go head first.
Tell us a little bit about like your exercise routine and how that changed. Just the things that you used to do. Are there some things that you that you gave up doing after your accident, or how do you still maintain that semblance of your identity in spite of all the change?
Before I used to like to run. I loved running. And so for me, the next best thing for like people ask me like, are you getting like one of those hand wheelchairs that like you push? I'm like, no, because those are like, that's too much damage on your shoulders. So I looked into hand cycling, and that's like.
Can you explain that a little bit?
A hand cycle?
No, the wheelchair before.
So like the other wheelchair, the sports wheelchair is what you probably see a lot in like the Paralympics. It's like it's a wheelchair like mine, but it's more designed for like speed. So it's actually 3 wheels. So it's 2 regular wheels on the side, and they're at a crazy camber angle, and then there's another wheel that's like 5 feet in front of you. So it's like a tricycle, but it's just made for speed. So you push and it goes really fast. The way it's designed, it goes very fast. I mean, I never used one of those, but what I use is a hand cycle. It's basically a bicycle for people who can't use their legs. So it's kind of like an upside down bicycle. So it's everything that's like with your hands. So you pedal with your hands, you brake with your hands, and you turn with your hands. Everything's with your hands.
That's cool.
And it's cool. Like the one I have, I like to do. What I work up to during the summer, because like obviously it's cold right now, I can't really ride. But I try to work up to, what my goal is over the summer is going to be like 20, 30 miles a day.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, but I like it because I just love being outside and like it's a great workout.
So you're getting a lot of workouts in your arms.
Yeah.
How about your legs? Do you
nothing
in terms of muscles?
So what I do actually for my legs, yeah, you're right. I have a standing frame at home. So like I try to stand on my standing frame every night. So what a standing frame is like it's something that allows you to stand. So I transfer from my wheelchair to a standing frame, then I jack myself up like like a car jack.
Okay.
So I use the same system. You use the hydraulics and you push yourself up to where you're standing. So there's like a brace in the front that locks your legs, and then there's the whole back thing that stands you up. Like that one doctor. It's like that.
Gotcha.
So I try to stand on that every night for 1 to 2 hours. I don't get to every night because I work and go to school, but yeah. So that actually helps keep my bone density. Like it helps with bone density, muscle. Like if you look at my legs compared to like a lot of paraplegics' legs or people who were born paralyzed, my legs are kind of meaty, as opposed to them. Like it's skinnier than my legs before. There's many reasons for that, because before my accident I had big legs, so I used to run and work out a lot, and then after my accident I use a standing frame like almost every night. So that's what keeps like a lot of my like leg health there. Because if you don't do that, your legs get very weak and you can break them very easily. So alhamdulillah, I haven't broken anything yet.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So how long do you stand on the standing frame, and how does it feel when you're doing it? Like, is it a lot of strain on your body overall? It's
actually like it relieves some of the strain, because like I'm always sitting down like crunched in this chair.
Yeah.
Because like my chair is designed for me, so it's like tight, and but it has to serve multiple purposes. It's not like the perfect sitting still chair where you can just relax all the time. So like my back does hurt after a while sitting in it. But like the standing frame, I usually stand in there from 1 to 2 hours. Like if it's a weekend, I'll stand in there for like 2 hours or more, because like it's a work week, I'll only do like an hour. Yeah.
Another physical. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, that's what I do.
Last question about the standing frame. Yeah. What do you do while you're in that standing position?
There's different things. So it's got like a tray, so I could like be on my laptop, be on my phone, or usually I'm in the living room, so I'm with my family, so I talk to my family, or I'll put a movie on, because it's in the living room. So it's like, instead of having like a big chair, because when I first came back, I got a big chair for me to sit in, but the hospital's the one who gave me the standing frame. So it was really nice of them. Yeah, it was, because they had a bunch of them. They had one lying around, and they donated to me. It was really cool, because like those things are very expensive. They're like, I think on the low end $2,000, and they go up from there.
I'm interested in learning more about like the marathons that you've
been in. Yeah.
How are those?
I've done one. I wanted to do more. So I did one in 2019. The next year was COVID. And then
did a marathon?
Yeah, I did the Detroit Free Press Marathon.
Okay.
So you guys know what that is?
I think I've heard of it.
It's the big, like, you know, like there's like the Boston.
Yeah.
It's the one in Detroit. Like they're all like, I think they're all somewhat related, but the marathon is 26.2 miles, and when I competed in that, like there's actually a cool story behind that. So I was once I got my hand cycle, and I signed up for the marathon, because I was trained towards that. And the hand cycle I had wasn't really a speed bike, or wasn't designed for long distance riding. It was just it was a cross between a racer and a recreational bike. So it wouldn't have been that good for the marathon. It would have been really rough, actually, because after doing the marathon, I realized it would have been very rough. But I told my friend's dad that signed up for a marathon, and once he found that out, he kind of went like behind my back and talked, because he knew I worked out at Planet Fitness. So he kind of went behind my back and talked to them, and he convinced them to, like, I never asked for this, I never even knew. This was just totally out of the blue. he like talked to them, told them my story, and they're like, shut up, we've heard enough. We'll do whatever we can to help this kid. So just tell us what we can do. And then like he was asking me all these weird questions, like how tall I am, what's my weight, and like what kind of hand cycles are cool ones or stuff like that. Like, all these weird questions. And then like
while at Planet Fitness.
Yeah, like he would text me like from time to time, because this was happening over the course of time, like 2 months or something, because these bikes aren't like, they're not mass produced, they're custom made to you. So he was asking me like how tall I am, what's my weight, that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know why he's asking me this. It's just my friend's dad. Like, why are you asking me that? But then like 2 months later, I come to Planet Fitness one day, and there's like news, cameras, 3 different news stations. I'm like, there's a shiny new bike, and it's got like Planet Fitness stickers on it, and then I got that bike, and that's what I used to compete in the marathon.
How did you feel like with all that publicity? And
it was very shocking, but it was nice. It was a great experience. I mean, it was really cool to see like the gym I worked out at like did that for me.
That's awesome, man.
Really cool.
And going back to like the inspiration, you wanting to inspire people. I was reading an article about you engaging in the marathon, and then you just by like mentioning it to your neighbor or something like that, you kind of convinced him to join. Also do a half marathon, I believe.
Yeah. So I think my neighbor's wife might have done it. Yeah, I talked to different people, and I convinced a lot of people to do the marathon with me. Like that year, I competed in the marathon. I did it with my coach, my old cross country coach, my cousin, and one of my cross country friends. So like, yeah, I always try to convince a lot of people to do the marathon, but yeah, it's just a fun thing to do with your friends. It's a great experience, and that one was like the best.
Especially when you get close to the end and like everybody's cheering you on. I saw that video. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That's awesome. So we're talking about like you using a bike for recreational activities and just having fun. But just how about your day-to-day life, about going from A to B?
So usually during the week, so the work week, I go to school and I work. So I work at a company, and I'm a design engineer at this company. Thermolift, that's the name of it. It's a HVAC startup. We're working on a pretty cool machine that's, if it goes into production, it's going to change the HVAC industry. But I work usually 8 to 5, and then on 2 days of the week I have school, so like Tuesday and Thursday. So it's cool because my work works around my schedule, and I work in between my classes sometimes. So Thursdays I have a gap, so I work in between. But so like Monday through Friday I work 5 days a week. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays I work and go to school.
Gotcha.
So pretty busy.
Yeah. So are you commuting to school?
I drive everywhere.
Okay.
I drive too much. I drive from where I live to work to my job in Novi, and then from Novi to Ypsilanti, and then Ypsilanti like back home. So it's just like a lot of driving.
Tell us about that transition of driving a car with your legs to operating the car with your hands.
So like it took me actually 2 years to actually get a car and get a license, because there's a lot of things you got to go through before you can start driving again.
Right.
So if you do it the proper way, because some people they just get back in their car and they do it like they don't do it the right way, because you like after a huge medical accident you have to get like re-licensed or something. So there was like I had to go through a few different steps. So first, when I was out of the hospital, I was in a brace, so I had to get out of that. So that took like, I think it was supposed to be like 6 months or something. I took it off early because it was just annoying.
This brace was for your neck?
For like, because I broke my chest, like this whole area, so my whole sternum. So when I had my accident, gotcha. I broke my sternum, 2 ribs, and like 3 vertebrae in my back, and I shifted my spinal cord, my spine. So my whole torso was basically broken. So I was in a brace for like, I think like I was supposed to be in it for like a year after my accident, but I took it off really early.
Can't imagine how good it felt probably taking it off.
It was just too annoying. Yeah. But so wait, where were we going? I'm sorry, where were we going?
We were talking about driving.
Driving. Okay, yeah, my bad, driving. So I had to get that off first, and then I had to. It's a process, but I had to, because it's very expensive to learn how to drive again, especially for me. So it's like a 2,000 or probably more now class, because it's very personal training. So you're not just getting trained from a regular driving instructor. This driving instructor knows how to like drive, also drive with hand controls, and she's an occupational therapist. Oh, so gotcha. It's not like a normal thing. So I had to get taught how to drive with the hand controls. So how the hand control works, it's a brake. Well, it's different in every hand control, but for mine, it's I swivel down for a brake. No, I swivel down for gas and I push for a brake. And then to steer, I have my other hand and I have a call it suicide knob. It goes on your steering wheel and it's just something bolted in. I could just turn with one hand and then gas and brake with the other hand. But yeah, the whole driving process took very long because I had to go through like this thing called MRS, which is Michigan Rehab Services, and it helps people with disabilities get back to work, and whatever they got to do to get you working again, they'll help you do. Like they'll help pay for school, help you get a license again, so they'll pay for the hand controls.
Is this for physical disabilities primarily, or does it have for intellectual or other kinds of?
I don't know how.
I don't know if you would know.
I don't know how it exactly works for intellectual, but I think I know it's disabilities because they're Michigan Rehab Services, so I think it may even go beyond disabilities.
Okay.
But because like the whole logic behind it is Michigan needs to make money off of you, so they make more money off of you if you work, because the statistics for people who become disabled, like for them to go back to work, it's like significantly low. It's like I think around 10 to 30% of people with disabilities like go back to work.
Okay.
So they do what they can so they can make money off of you, basically. They pay your taxes. So they helped me learn how to drive again, get modifications for my car, and they helped pay for my school.
So they modify your car, basically?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's whatever modifications you need, they'll do it. So alhamdulillah, I didn't have to pay for any of that. It's expensive.
I honestly wanted to talk a little bit about your family dynamics and your friends, and if anything changed after your accident.
It did, but it got better.
Okay.
Because it actually got like all my relationships actually strengthened after my accident. Like my friends, I became close with my friends, became closer with my family. Like the conversations they went to a different level because they had to go through all this stuff with me. So it was a lot of emotional stuff, like very deep conversations, and I had to talk to them more because I was going through all this. So they had to help me do stuff physically, and they had to help me with, like, when I was emotional, I would talk to them. They were always nice to reach out to. So everything actually, like, all my relationships got better. And then after that, like, I realized you never know when you're going to die. So right after my accident, I called, like, almost everyone. I called everyone that I ever had problems with, and I made sure there was no beefs, like no problems. So I made sure I talked to them. I reconnected with a lot of old friends, and I just made sure I'm on a good playing field with everyone. Because, like, you don't want to go to the grave, like, having, like, dislike towards you or something. So
beautiful. That's awesome. I think it's a good time to take our break. But yeah, no, this has been great.
Okay.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for listening. We hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. If you or someone you know would be interested in being a guest on the podcast, or if you have any feedback, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at DreamDearborn, or on our website at dreamdearborn.org, or on our email at disabilitiesproject@umich.edu. Thank you.
All right, we're back from the break at Discovering Disabilities in Dearborn. We're having an episode with Sallah Mohamed and discussing his spinal cord injury. This is really a story rooted in resilience, and it's really inspirational. All you've accomplished, and a lot of these challenges that people don't even realize that you had to go through beyond the physical injury that you experienced. So really, thank you for sharing all of this.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I want to talk to you about the marathon and your journey to building up to it. So just tell us a little bit about that.
So a life goal of mine was always to compete in a marathon. And then when before the accident, I was actually training for the marathon. Because right before the accident, I actually ran a half marathon. I was building up to the full marathon, because the full marathon is 26.2. I did 13.1. Wow. And then so I did that in the summer. And then after that summer, that's when I had my accident. So my thought process is, I can't run a marathon now, so what's the next best thing? So hand cycling. So I got into hand cycling. I got my first hand cycle through the Kelly Brush Foundation. They paid for the majority of it. I paid a little bit, because it's just how much you apply for the grant, and if you apply for more, they might give you more. It's just depends on what you put on your application.
So it's a grant for people with physical disabilities?
Yep. It's a grant to help you get something it's based in outdoor equipment, so something outdoor adaptive, not necessarily outdoor, but because I know they help with a lot with wheelchair basketball, but some adaptive sports equipment to get you to do sports again.
Okay.
So I applied for that. I got it. They gave me a good amount of money, so I got my first hand cycle. And then from there, I started riding almost every day to train for this marathon. So I trained about average 5 to 6 days a week. And I was building up to 30 miles because the marathon, I actually rode a little bit more than that sometimes, but the marathon is 26.2. And when you train for any race, I learned this back in cross country, is you want to be able to do whatever race you're doing, you want to be able to do a lot more than that so you can do that race fast. So I would train, I'd build up to it. So eventually I got to the point where I was hand cycling around 25 to 30 miles a day. That was like my average. And just doing that every day built up a lot of arm strength, a lot of cardio, and it got me well prepared for the marathon.
Do you think that mindset of always going above and beyond from cross country, that part of your mentality, do you think that prepared you to be resilient?
I think a lot of things did. Sports for sure, because I did a lot of sports. I wrestled, cross country, soccer, track.
Yeah.
Track was a big one. But it also being brought up Muslim and Arabic, so and especially in a country that's not, especially in the city I live, it's mostly white people. So you're getting brought up in a different environment, and so you just have, like, the early years of my life, I'd say up to middle school is when I experienced like a decent amount of racism. But after that, like, I mean, things got better because just as time went on, the city and stuff got better. But like, you just build up, like, through different life experiences, I built up a very strong mentality. So I had very thick skin. Like, it's very hard to offend me. And so just a different experiences, like growing up Muslim, growing up Arab, doing sports, surrounding yourself with good people. I just always had a pretty strong mind. And it carried over into my accident. It helped me progress a lot during my accident.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think a lot of people can learn from that, just having thick skin, not letting things get to you, and, you know, building that endurance and capacity is very important. So the Kelly Brush Foundation, going back to that, they basically provided you with this bike. And on the break, we talked a little bit about this, but there was another accident involved in that.
Oh, yeah. So after I got the first bike, then the Planet Fitness bike that I told you guys earlier, I got that, and I competed in the marathon. And then the next year, I was trying to train for the next. So then I couldn't compete in the next marathon because 2020, that was COVID. And then 2021, I was trying to compete in that marathon. But then, as I was training for that marathon, it was actually probably 2 weeks before the marathon, 2 or 3 weeks before the marathon. I was on my way home, and I was on a bike path, pretty open bike path, and this lady wasn't paying attention. She turned and smoked me on my hand cycle. But alhamdulillah, it was just my front feet, so I didn't really feel any damage, but my feet got messed up a little bit. But they were all right, no broken bones or anything, just like a lot of bruising. Like one of my feet swelled up really bad to where every time I put on shoes, I got a little dizzy because I obviously can't feel what's going on, but sometimes there's this thing called autonomic dysreflexia. What it is from your level of injury, from below the level of injury, if there's something bothering you, there's a basically a disconnect of where you have your between your brain and like the rest of your body so what autonomic dysreflexia is so if there's something below your level of injury that's bothering you, you're gonna find out in some different way. Like you'll get a headache, you'll start sweating, or there's different things that can cause that.
It's like kind of similar to phantom pain in a way.
Phantom pain.
Not really.
I wouldn't say phantom pain is.
The doctor is nodding his head no.
No, phantom pain is where it's not real pain. Like you think you're feeling it. Like, so if my legs were like hurting me mentally, that's like phantom pain.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I used to not get phantom pain in the beginning, but I would like phantom feelings. So I would think I'm feeling my legs, but I wasn't really.
So where would you feel it instead of you said you would feel it somewhere else?
So like when I was putting on my shoes, that like a lot of times I was getting really dizzy. So I realized every time I put on my shoes, because my foot was so swollen and my shoe, it would be really hard to. I would push really hard, but it wasn't good because I was hurting myself. But I would like feel a lot in my head. But sometimes like for example, if I need to use the bathroom really bad, like I'll sweat a lot because I usually don't sweat in general, like in much, even before my accident. But I don't sweat that much. But when I sweat, I know there's something wrong. Like I know I have to go to the bathroom. But if my head's bothering me, like I know there's something wrong. There's always something wrong, and your body lets you know in different ways.
Is that how you know that you have to use the restroom, or do you plan out?
I plan it. So like I try to do every 4 hours.
Gotcha.
And then before I sleep, you're supposed to wake up and do it, but I don't do it. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night just to use the bathroom. So what I do is I just don't drink too much water before I sleep, and I use the bathroom right before, so I don't have to wake up in the middle of the night, and I'll just sleep through the whole night. Yeah.
Another question just on this note that I thought about. Have your dietary habits changed at all after the accident?
A little bit, yeah. Well, initially after the accident, I couldn't eat sweets for some reason. I don't know if it's because I hit my head really hard, but I couldn't eat anything sweet for like 2 months. Like it just bothered me. But definitely my diet changed. Like I can't eat too much like processed food because like I'll get like what's the word that starts with a C? You get
constipated.
Constipated, yeah. So I'll get constipated if I eat too much like dry food or like processed food. If I eat too much of it, and the other thing is if I eat too much like red meat, the opposite will happen. It'll just go right through me. Wow. So like I gotta really monitor what I eat. Well, not too much, but just stay a little more balanced.
And you never had this issue before?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, going back again to the Kelly Brush grant that you were able to get, can you walk us through like the application process and so is it many people winning the award? Is it just one? And
I don't know the limit, but they grant, as the foundation has grown over time, they grant more and more people with it because like a lot of people know about it and they give back to it. Like I've donated back to it because it helped me, so why not help others?
That's nice.
So the process is like it's like a general application for like any like grant, and then you write like a paper, and I think you also make a video, and then you just say like why you're basically saying, because it's not like they're not just giving you money, they don't even give you like cash. It's check that goes straight to the wherever you're buying the equipment. So what it is, it's they help you get back into physical like sports activity, something like that. So you tell them like why do you want, like for example for my hand cycles, like why do I want a hand cycle? Because I want to be active again. I want to enjoy the outdoors. I want to do something because there wasn't really anything for me to do. There was really nothing adaptive sport wise that I wanted to do other than hand cycling. Like there's a bunch of adaptive sports, but I wasn't really interested in them. I just wanted to hand cycle because I just love being outside and working out and like that kind of way of doing it. But it wasn't too crazy of a application process, but you just got to be honest and truthful, and that's what I was.
Any good trails that you like to go on?
Around where I live specifically, there's a bunch of trails.
Okay.
So
awesome.
There's probably like the way it's connected because it's connected to the metro parks like Lower Huron, Willow Metro, Huron Metro, like that area. So it's probably like, and then it goes to Lake Erie. So it's probably like 100 miles of biking.
Awesome.
It's all connected and intertwined.
So have you met anybody on those trails? Sorry.
Yeah, I have met people. Yeah, like I've met a bunch of old people. They like to bike a lot. But like I met some people. Yeah, it's nice.
Just ride with any of them?
No, not like random people. Like I'll ride with my sister sometimes or my friends. But a lot of them can't keep up. But one of my friends can't keep up. He's very athletic. One of my friends can always keep up, but a lot of everyone else they have trouble.
You also mentioned Hawkeye Foundation.
Oh, the Hawkeye Foundation is similar to the Kelly Brush. It's similar to that, but I actually wrote I remember I wrote a pretty in-depth paper, and they basically want us know like how it can help with whatever situation you're in. But it's very similar to the Kelly Brush, but it's just a different one. And they're not as big and well known, but they are helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any challenges that you face on a day-to-day basis, or that you faced after your injury that people probably don't expect, or that you want to bring attention to?
I guess it depends. So it's basically just being in the wheelchair and like access to things. Like sometimes there's like stairs or getting into doorways is kind of hard. But it's just just being physical in a wheelchair. It requires a lot more physicality because like you're doing a lot of movements, and on top of that, like with with me specifically, because I had an injury that made me paralyzed. So it's like I'm dealing with like a lot of pain. I'm always in pain, and then like just going through the day with like physical pain, and then like doing all this stuff. It just keeps stacking up on top of each other. So there's a lot of physical pain, and then like simple things like shoes in the way, like stuff on the ground. That's the kind of stuff that gets annoying. Like if there's like, or like around, like if I go places, like there's like something on the ground, like a tool, or when I'm at work, I have to get someone to move something, like that kind of stuff. But alhamdulillah, in America, like things are designed, like thank God for the ADA, yeah. They've done a lot of good work and made things more accessible. So
yeah, there's definitely still work that needs to be done.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know, it's like these small challenges that people don't really think about. They might see a shoe there and it doesn't bother them, but it's very problematic and could be, you know, almost catastrophic for someone if the wheelchair maybe flips over or something.
But yeah, stuff like that.
How about people like opening the doors for you and stuff like that? Does that make you feel any way?
I like it, honestly, because it just makes my life easier. I know a lot of people with disabilities don't like it. I've heard that a lot, but me personally, I like it because it just makes it easier for me. But like certain things you shouldn't do with people in like wheelchairs, like push them. Like that's something you got to ask about. Like,
of course, yeah.
Because now you're like actually like you're interacting with them physically. But like opening doors always, I think everyone always likes that because I can open doors, but it's just harder. But I can do it. But opening doors is a good one that you can always do.
How has traveling been? Have you ever gone on any like vacations after the injury?
I did actually. Was it last year? Last year or 2 years ago, I went to. It was my first time. It was actually being on a plane like for years because the last time I was on a plane was the last time I went to Yemen. Before that, but I went to California with my friends. So, but the good thing is the thing about going with my friends, it made it easy because like I have strong friends and they're all like young guys like me. So if there was any difficulty, they would literally just pick me up. Cause like when we went to California, we stayed with a friend, and he had a 3-story like a condo or like townhouse. I don't know what it would be called, but it's 3 stories. So it was the basement, like a middle floor, and a 3rd floor. So they would carry me wherever I needed to go, and that helped out a lot. But there's like different stuff. Like when you go to the airport, they push you if you need to, and then they have a transfer chair. You transfer into like an aisle seat, and they take you to your seat. So I mean, it wasn't too bad. My friends made it way easier. But if you're by yourself, there's different things you can do. I would do a lot of planning, a lot of research.
Yeah,
that's like one thing I've really incorporated in my life after my accidents. I try to plan for everything. Like before this trip, I would talk to like my friend who lived there like once a week, like 2 or 3 months before this trip, just make sure everything's good. Like I had the things over there that I need, and we just talk and make sure everything is good. Just so because I never traveled before that, and I just want to make sure I was good. I had everything covered.
And like if the house is like disability accessible and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or
well, his house was definitely not.
Yeah, of course.
But
it would be nice.
We
if
made it work.
It would be nice
to go to the beach.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah. We went to the beach. We went to San Francisco. He stayed in Silicon Valley because he works out there. So we went to San Francisco, San Jose, just around the whole Bay Area. It was nice. California is really nice.
How was your swimming experience?
I haven't actually swam yet.
Okay.
Like I've gone on the water, but I have to learn how to swim because it's such a different experience. Because like I went in the water with a life jacket, but it's just like I couldn't even balance myself because like so I'm paralyzed from the chest down, so I don't have a lot of balance. So like, balance for me is very hard. Like the only thing that's keeping me upright like is my chair right now. Because like if I'm not in this chair, I'll be like hunched over. Because I don't have like abdominals. So I don't like you don't realize, but your abs is what is a lot of balance. Like when you're working out too, like when I work out, like sometimes I have to strap myself to the bench because I'll fall over.
So you still bench as well?
There's different benches, but like if I'm doing bench with dumbbells, I'll go lighter weight because the balance is hard. But what I usually do if I bench, I go on the Smith machine.
Okay.
I do that, and but mostly when I work out, I like to focus on back just to strengthen my back.
I wish there's like portable ramps and stuff that you can take with you. That would be nice. Is there something like that?
There is like I mean they're not necessarily portable, but like
foldable, you know, you can put them on stairs and
they're
stuff.
big.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I have one like at my sister's house. Like it's a 6-foot ramp.
You take it around.
I just leave it there at hers, but like
Gotcha.
but like that one, I mean, it's lightweight, it's aluminum, but it's just still big because it's a 6-foot ramp. It folds up into 3 feet, but it's still big.
Your house is fully revamped.
Not really, because like my house was just a ranch house, so it was all flat. But the thing that we redid was we added a ramp, and then we remodeled the bathroom completely.
Okay.
And we made that like the whole bathroom area just bigger because just to access it.
Yeah.
But like alhamdulillah, my house is just all flat. It's like it's just a regular ranch house, and it just worked for me.
Okay. So I want to ask you how you stay connected with your community after your injury. I know you're still close to your friends, but particularly wheelchair users. Are you close to them? Is it a tight-knit community?
Yeah, so there's like there's a lot of good Facebook groups. I'm part of two. Like one is a hand cycle group. I forgot their name, but the other main group that I really like stay in touch with is Spinal Cord Injury Group USA. Spinal Cord Injury Group USA. They're a very good Facebook group because you got a bunch of people who went through spinal cord injuries or people who related to someone with spinal cord injuries. You can just like talk and be open there about like your disabilities, and like they instantly get it because they're going through something similar to what you're going through. So like a lot of times you'll say something and like not like able-bodied people won't understand it, but like they'll instantly get it. So it's a nice group to like reach out to like about anything. Like if you want to advice, I use it a lot of it for like I ask a lot of questions because I can't ask people around me about these questions because they just won't know the answer. And it's not something you can really Google. There's not too much information out, but the groups, like you talk to people and they give you real answers. It's amazing.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
You guys heard it. Say the name one more time for the
Spinal Cord Group USA.
Okay.
Spinal Cord Injury Group USA. Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Another thing that we should address is any future goals that you have. You seem like you always set goals for yourself, and that continues to push you forward and helps with your resilience. So, what other future goals do you have set for yourself?
So, one thing is to move out and get a house. That's a big one, inshallah. And then I'm engaged right now, so I want to finish that whole process up and get married, and just I guess just like the traditional like family life Arab, like I just want to build onto that life and just be happy and be comfortable in life and that kind of stuff, like get increased pay over time, that kind of stuff. Inshallah, get a house, build a family, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
With the communities that you've built, do you feel like you'd want to stay like close to home, or do you want to move away?
I'm too close to like my family. Like you can go anywhere in this world, and like for me, like I can go anywhere, but I just won't feel. I don't feel like I won't be happy unless I'm by like my friends and family. Like for me, I just have to be. I've always been like a family person. Like I grew up around a bunch of my family. Like I have a pretty big family, so I couldn't go to a different state or nothing. Like I have to stay around. It's just something I had to do.
I'm sure that you're going to fulfill all those goals, given all your past success and your resilience. Also, I know you recently got engaged, so your fiance is very lucky.
Also, I got to finish school.
Yeah, you're almost done.
I'll be done this year.
Okay,
December this year. Yeah.
Big year for you.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then maybe go to grad school. Who knows? But not immediately, for sure. Got to take a break.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. That's it from me, and I'll let Rashad take us to our dream segment.
Okay, Salah, do you have any comments that you'd like to add before our dream segment?
No, no, nothing. Yeah,
I'm
interested about this dream segment.
Okay, all right. So the dream segment, basically, we do it every podcast. It's the last question we ask, and the question is, what is your dream? It could be related to anything, for your future, for now, related to disability, and it's non-related to disabilities, literally about anything. You can take a minute to think about this, but Salah, what is your dream?
But I guess to just have like a family and just live that kind of life, like nothing particularly crazy. I mean, maybe in time, maybe I love helping people, so that may be one thing I might go down later on in my career or as a dream, like design something to help people or something to progress something in this world. So I would like to help people in some way. I don't know how it's going to be, if it's going to be people in Yemen or Muslims somewhere or people with disabilities or something, but I would love to design something one day to help people in some sort of way and make people's lives easier, and just honestly just be a good person in society, and good Muslim, and just a good example for people. Inshallah, if I have kids, that's one thing I would, because after an accident, you're for men, the chance of having kids goes down significantly. So if I could have kids, that would be amazing.
Inshallah you will.
Those are very good dreams, very nice dreams, and we hope they come true. And you're already getting started on accomplishing those dreams. That new HVAC system you guys have been working on, you in the company, if that can help a lot of people.
Yeah, it
for
can.
sure. And you've also been an inspiration, like Ali was saying earlier. Your resilience is going to carry you, your determination, your mindset, and being that inspiration to others. Going to schools, talking to the kids at an early age, sharing your story through YouTube, through social media. It's been very, very helpful for so many people, not just locally, but around the whole world, because we don't know where these people are commenting from, but they're commenting.
Yeah.
So
I do get messages, and they have said it has helped them, because it started off with I was in the hospital. I was a few months out of the hospital. I posted a video of me getting from the ground to my wheelchair, and my friend, who was an occupational therapist at RIM, showed that to one of his patients, and he said she was a Yemeni girl who was paralyzed, not even as bad as me, but she was just very depressed and very just sad about the whole situation. And when he showed that video to her, he said it changed her whole outlook. So ever since then, if one of my videos can just help one person, it's worth it. So that's why I try to post. I need to post more on my YouTube, but I post a decent amount on Instagram. But I need to get back to posting on YouTube, because I love helping people. So in any way that I can, and I love getting the messages from people.
I think you're doing that already, and you're continuing to do that through being on this podcast and continuing your efforts. And no, this has been an amazing episode. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Honestly, of course. Well, there you have it, guys. Discovering Disabilities in Dearborn with Sallah Mohamed. Check him out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe. Amazing person.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sallah, and thank you to our amazing viewers for watching this podcast episode of Discovering Disabilities in Dearborn. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Dream Dearborn, and visit our website, dreamdearborn.org. We'll see you on the next one.